The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, directed by Peter Jackson in 2012, was a prequel to the beloved Lord of the Rings trilogy. Taking us back to Middle-earth, the film grossed $976 million. Interestingly, it was shot at an unusual 48 frames per second, twice the standard rate.
To enter the mountain.
What of it?
There are some.
Spider-Man: Homecoming. In 2017 reintroduced us to a younger, high school-aged Spider-Man. Directed by John Watts, the film was a hit, earning $976 million. It was the first Spider-Man movie to be set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You guys aren't the real Avengers. I can tell Hulk gives it away.
Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, directed by Mike Newell in 2005, was a pivotal film in the Harry Potter series that grew darker and more mature, just like its characters. This magical journey collected $986 million globally. Did you know it was the first Harry Potter film to receive a PG-13 rating?
Is that Hermione Granger with Victor Crumb?
The Secret Life of Pets, a delightful animation directed by Chris Renaud in 2016, explored what our pets do when we're not home. With humor and heart, it fetched a cool $995 million. Interestingly, it was the highest-grossing original animated film not produced by Disney or Pixar at the time. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, directed by Chris Columbus in 2002, was the second journey into J.K. Rowling's magical world. It's enchanted audiences worldwide, racking up $995 million. This was the last Harry Potter film directed by Columbus, who wanted to spend more time with his own children.
Don't panic.
The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, directed by Peter Jackson in 2001, started an epic fantasy journey that would capture the world's imagination. The film earned $998 million. Most of the actors playing the Fellowship got matching tattoos to commemorate their time on the film.
Are you frightened?
Yes.
Not nearly frightened.
Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, directed by David Yates in 2009, deepened the sense of danger in the Harry Potter series. Audiences were spellbound, with box office receipts totaling $1,001 million. Interestingly, it is the only film in the series where Voldemort does not make an appearance.
Is upon us all.
In my life, I've seen things that are truly horrific.
Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, another magical chapter directed by David Yates in 2007, continued the saga's success, enchanting audiences to the tune of $1,001 million. Fun fact, the prophecy concerning Harry and Voldemort is revealed in this film.
This is a lie.
It's not a lie. I saw it.
We've got to be able to defend ourselves.
Jumanji, The Next Level, directed by Jake Kasdan in 2019, took audiences on another fun and unpredictable journey into the world's most dangerous game. The film scored an impressive $1 billion at the box office. Did you know the film's desert scenes were shot in Glamis, California, a popular location for sand dune filming? Spider-Man 3, directed by Sam Raimi in 2007, was a film packed with emotion and exciting battles. Despite mixed reviews, it still swung to a whopping $1,003 million. Interestingly, the film features Spider-Man's black suit, a fan favorite storyline from the comics.
Parker.
Despicable Me 3, by Pierre Coffin and Kyle Balda in 2017 brought back everyone's favorite villain-turned-hero Gru and his adorable minions. The film laughed its way to over $1,031 million. Did you know that this was the first film in the franchise to not feature Gru as the main antagonist?
It's some kind of monster.
Wait, that's not a monster.
The Lion King of 1994, directed by Roger Allers and Rob Minkoff, is a beloved animated classic that roared its way to over $1,011 million in worldwide box office. Did you know the film's title translates to the King Lion in Swahili, a language used in many of the film's songs?
It is time.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1, directed by David Yates in 2010, marked the beginning of the end for the Harry Potter series. Fans flocked to theaters, generating over $1,022 million in revenue. Fun fact, it's the only film in the series that doesn't feature a scene in Hogwarts.
To kill Harry Potter.
Let's get off the streets, get somewhere safe.
Star Wars, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, directed by George Lucas in 1999, brought Star Wars back to the big screen after 16 years. The film collected over $1,027 million globally. It was the first Star Wars film to use CGI extensively.
The one who will bring balance to the Force. You believe it's this boy?
He can see things before they happen.
Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was the beginning of the magical journey, directed by Chris Columbus in 2001. The world was introduced to the boy wizard and the film magically made $1,024 million. Did you know J.K. Rowling was offered the opportunity to direct the film but declined?
You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg in 1993, took us to an island filled with real dinosaurs. The film was a monstrous hit, earning over $1,029 million. The T-Rex's roar was a mix of a baby elephant's, a tiger's, and an alligator's sounds. Beauty and the Beast of 1991, directed by Gary Trousdale and Kirk Wise, is a tale as old as time that charmed audiences worldwide, grossing over $1,040 million. Did you know it was the first animated film to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards?
And the Beast.
That's even more magical. In 3D.
Frozen, directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee in 2013, created a global storm with its memorable songs and strong female leads, earning over $1,072 million. The film took over 70 years to make it to the big screen as the project was repeatedly shelved due to story difficulties.
Land covered in eternal snow.
Really?
If we don't do...
Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, directed by J.J. Abrams in 2019, concluded the Skywalker saga, earning over $1,075 million worldwide. Interesting fact, it is the only film in the sequel trilogy to not gross over $1,300 million.
The Force will be with you.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, directed by Jake Kasdan in 2017, reimagined the classic Jumanji, earning over $1,078 million. The film was shot on location in Hawaii to capture the lush jungle environments.
Martha, you're all here for a reason.
Hey, person walking.
You should be thinking about who you are and who you want to be. You'll have plenty of time to figure that out.
The Dark Knight Rises, directed by Christopher Nolan in 2012, marked a dark, epic conclusion to the Batman trilogy, soaring to over $1,084 million at the box office. Anne Hathaway performed most of her own stunts in the film. Transformers, Age of Extinction, directed by Michael Bay in 2014, exploded onto the big screen with a new lead actor, Mark Wahlberg. The Autobots and Decepticons battled their way to over $1,100 million worldwide. It's the first film in the series without Shia LaBeouf. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, directed by Peter Jackson in 2002, continued the epic adventure in Middle-earth, raking in over $1,111 million. The iconic Battle of Helm's Deep was filmed during the night for nearly 4 months.
It's the ring. Frodo! It's taking hold of you.
You have the gift of foresight. Tell me what you have seen.
He is not coming back.
Transformers, Dark of the Moon, the third in Michael Bay's Transformers series in 2011, rocketed to over $1,123 million worldwide. Fascinating fact, it's the last film featuring the original human cast, including Shia LaBeouf. Captain Marvel, directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck in 2019, introduced the most powerful Avenger. It blasted through the box office, earning over $1,128 million. Brie Larson trained for 9 months to build her physical strength for the role.
But I can't tell if it's real.
Spider-Man, Far From Home, directed by John Watts in 2019, took Peter Parker on a European vacation that earned more than $1,131 million globally. It's the first Spider-Man film to gross over $1 billion.
You were going to be here after he was gone.
The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, directed by Peter Jackson in 2003, concluded the epic trilogy with over $1,139 million in revenue. The film won all 11 Academy Awards it was nominated for. Aquaman, directed by James Wan in 2018, made a splash at the box office, netting over $1,147 million globally. Fun fact, Jason Momoa performed most of his own stunts in the film.
Trust me, I am no killer.
You do your best thinking when you're not thinking at all.
That was the worst pep talk ever.
Spider-Man, No Way Home, directed by John Watts in 2021, webbed up over $1,154 million. This film marks the return of many villains from previous Spider-Man franchises. Captain America, Civil War, directed by the Russo brothers in 2016, broke records and friendships, earning over $1,161 million. The film features the first appearance of Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
But he's my friend. So was I.
Minions, directed by Pierre Coffin and Kyle Balda in 2015, brought the lovable yellow sidekicks to the forefront and earned over $1,170 million. Fun fact, the gibberish language of the Minions, Mignonese, is a mix of English, Spanish, French, and Italian, with a sprinkle of Russian and Korean. Iron Man 3, directed by Shane Black in 2013, blew audiences away, amassing over $1,210 million worldwide. The Mandarin's character was controversially reimagined, leading to the creation of a Marvel one-shot to address fan reactions.
You're nothing more than a maniac. I'm not afraid of you. No politics here.
The Fate of the Furious, directed by F. Gary Gray in 2017, raced to over $1,235 million. Did you know it's the first film in the franchise not to star Paul Walker due to his tragic passing?
Here they come.
I don't know if the old Dom is in there. I don't give a damn. I'm taking you down. Toretto, let's play.
Incredibles 2, directed by Brad Bird in 2018, had us all feeling super, collecting over $1,247 million. The movie holds the record for the best debut for an animated film.
Help me bring supers back into the sunlight. We need to change people's perceptions about superheroes, and Elastigirl is our best play.
Beauty and the Beast, directed by Bill Condon in 2017, enchanted audiences to the tune of over $1,263 million. It's one of the few films where the Beast's real name, Adam, is never mentioned.
What did you do to it?
Nothing.
Get out of here! Go!
Frozen 2, directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee in 2019, let it go all the way to over $1,300 million. Interestingly enough, Elsa is the only Disney princess who is a queen. Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, directed by J.A. Bayona in 2018, roared its way to over $1,308 million. The film is set on the fictional island of Isla Nublar, near Costa Rica. Star Wars, The Last Jedi, directed by Rian Johnson in 2017, used the Force to secure over $1,335 million. It's the longest movie in the Star Wars franchise, clocking in at 152 minutes.
First order down. Come on!
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 2, directed by David Yates in 2011, concluded Harry's epic journey, bringing in over $1,342 million. It's the only film in the series to cross the billion-dollar mark.
Until the end.
Come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started it. Together!
Black Panther, directed by Ryan Coogler in 2018, was a cultural phenomenon that clawed its way to over $1,346 million. It's the first superhero movie ever to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars.
And it's hard for a good man to be a king.
Avengers, Age of Ultron, directed by Joss Whedon in 2015, collected a whopping $1,400 million. It marks the first appearance of Vision and Wanda Maximoff's Scarlet Witch in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Furious 7, directed by James Wan in 2015, revived its way to a box office take of over $1,514 million. You may not know, but it's the last film in the franchise to feature Paul Walker, who tragically passed away during filming. The Avengers, directed by Joss Whedon in 2012, assembled for the first time to defend the box office with over $1,518 million in ticket sales. This was the film that introduced the world to shawarma, thanks to a post-credits scene. The Lion King, directed by Jon Favreau in 2019, roared its way to over $1,650 million. It's one of the highest-grossing remakes of all time, and it utilized pioneering technology to create photorealistic animals. Jurassic World, directed by Colin Trevorrow in 2015, brought us back to the park with a box office take of over $1,670 million. The film was in development hell for over a decade before finally getting made.
We have learned more in the past decade from genetics than a century of digging up bones. A whole new frontier has opened up.
Avengers, Infinity War, directed by the Russo brothers in 2018, shocked audiences and collected over $2,046 million. This film had the biggest worldwide opening weekend and fastest to gross $1 billion. Star Wars, The Force Awakens, directed by J.J. Abrams in 2015, used the Force to secure over $2,068 million. Intriguing fact, it's the highest-grossing installment in the Star Wars franchise.
The Force, it's calling to you.
Titanic, directed by James Cameron in 1997, sailed its way into our hearts and secured over $2,202 million. Interestingly enough, the film's set was actually a scale model of the Titanic built to 90% of the original size. Avengers, Endgame, directed by the Russo brothers in 2019, concluded an era and amassed a staggering $2,798 million. Did you know it's the fastest film ever to break the $1 billion and $2 billion marks?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
And finally, Avatar, directed by James Cameron in 2009, created a whole new world and secured the top spot with a mind-blowing $2,848 million. It was the first film to gross more than $2 billion and remained the highest-grossing film worldwide for a decade.
Take whatever they want, but we will send them a message that this is our land.
And that concludes our trip through the 50 highest-grossing films of all time. These cinematic gems have dazzled us, moved us, thrilled us, and most importantly, brought us together in a shared appreciation of the art of storytelling. They remind us that cinema, in its most glorious form, transcends borders and languages, and continues to captivate us all. From enchanting animations to gripping thrillers, from heartwarming dramas to astounding sci-fi, these films have etched their names in the annals of cinema forever. Until next time, keep the popcorn ready, because the magic of the movies is never ending.